we can get started. Gary Auerbach here with a very special guest. This is an episode of Faces of Winchester, and this gentleman here is Mike Wilt, and he's going to tell me a little bit about an upcoming event on Saturday, September 3rd. I need to find out more about it, so we're going to ask the source. And Mike, thanks for agreeing to meet with me and chat with me here.
It's my pleasure.
Very cool. You know, and like I said, when I just met you, I've lived here 4 years, and I thought I knew all the cool people, but I definitely somehow missed you. I don't know how that happened. Mike, Hippiefest, right?
Yeah.
Where did the name come from? Is it just like you're just an old hippie in disguise, or?
Well, it started. You know, this is our second annual event. Last year was actually the 50th anniversary of the term hippie being used by the press for the first time.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and so I felt it needed to be acknowledged, and I started doing some research, and nobody was saying anything about celebrating the 50th anniversary of hippies. And
neat.
So I got to talking to my friends at Bonnie Blue, and they said, well, you know, we ought to do something, and so it kind of snowballed, and we thought, well, you know, what would hippies do if they, you know, got together and say, well, they'd try to do something good, and you know, make it worthwhile, not just you know, get together and party, although I'm sure that was a motivator too.
That was a part of it,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely. But we, you know, it just kind of blossomed into getting some money together. Last year, CCAP, the food pantry here.
Congregational Community Action Project, is
Correct.
That right?
Yeah, I'm glad you remembered that.
We just looked it up.
Yeah,
it's so hard to remember,
yeah.
But a lot of people use the term CCAP, and it's like, well, what does that really mean?
And it's CCAP of Winchester, because other communities have the same thing. But last year they had some technical difficulties at their physical facility, and they lost all of their food.
Oh, wow.
And so we were able to, you know, continue with our planning of our event. We held it at the end of the summer. I think it was September the 5th of last year. It was a rousing success. We got almost 4,000 pounds of food, which is our big goal for this year. We'd like to break the 4,000 pound barrier year two.
And this year it's September 3rd, right?
September
Which is
the 3rd.
Saturday. And
starts at noon.
Where is it held? Is it at Bonnie Blue location?
Yep, it's going to be at Bonnie Blue at the restaurant there. We're going to rope off the parking lot. We bring in, we set up a stage.
Wow.
Ben Weiss and a bunch of his buddies from Shepherdstown, the local Shepherdstown Martinsburg music scene, are coming over. They're going to provide great free rock and roll all day long.
Nice.
And there's going to be a Scutcheon Brewery. Is going to be there. Of course, Scott Harvard and the people at First Bank, they're one of our corporate sponsors.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, and we're very grateful to them. This is the second year in a row that they've stepped up for us. And, you know, of course, Bonnie Blue, you know, when I went to them last year, they got on board real fast, and they've stuck with it too. So they deserve a lot of credit for it. You know, there's nothing in this for anybody that's putting it together other than the fact that we get to feel good and get to do something for our community, because, you know, I personally believe that, you know, we need to instead of reaching out to the government for help all the time, let's reach out to the community and to ourselves, and we can do more directly and put it right where we need it locally than any other way.
Very nice. And you mentioned like collecting food. Is it that people bring donations on the day, or is there a fee to go in? How does it work?
It's a free event.
Okay.
People bring food that day. They can bring it a couple days ahead of time.
And it's really canned food, right? That you
Actually,
want,
no, it's not. I mean, canned food is great because it's easier to handle. But last year we had a lot of fresh vegetables. The CCAP pantry is almost just like any regular grocery store.
Okay.
And so people can go raid their garden at the end of the summer and bring us in some good fresh tomatoes or anything else that they have. Yeah, any food products at all, canned, fresh, whatever, it'll work. We'll make it work. So
that's great, Mike. And being the second year, like, when did you think about doing it for the first time? Was it, you know, 2 months before last year, September 5th, or was it 3 years you've been thinking about this?
You know, that's a good question. I'm trying to remember. I think it was maybe about May or June. I was doing some artwork. I do some cartooning and drawing, and I was working on a project that needed to to do a little research in the history of hippies, because I like some of that art style. Because
Nice.
I was a young teenager during the '60s, and so I was thinking back to, and I did a little research, and I came across the story about the journalist out in California that was the first to coin the term hippies as it applied to the counterculture youth of the '60s.
Right.
And so I thought, well, dang, that's, right here coming up in September. That's, we need to do something. So I ran over to Bonnie Blue and I said, hey guys, we need to do something. They said, yes, we do.
Yes, we do. Great.
And so it went from there. So here we are, year 2, and the feedback we're already getting, it's going to be a great event. And so yeah, we're hoping we get, we want to top 2 tons of food.
That's very cool. And Mike, I think it's really neat that just the little time in Winchester that I've been here, I was mentioning it's been 4 years, but the things that are new to the area, like let's see, the Hot Blossom.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And the Skyline Indie Film Fest, I just heard again, this is its 4th year.
Yeah.
And the Hippiefest.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunities here.
Well,
it's really neat.
It's a great community for that. Winchester, I'm a West Virginia boy, moved to Winchester in 1999. I'm from around this area geographically all my life, but the thing I like about Winchester, it's such a really nice, small southern city.
Right.
And that attitude that people associate with that is very prevalent in this town. It's a very community-oriented town. They care about the people who live in their town. They help each other, and this is a great town to get active in and do things for the community. So there's always stuff out there. I know the weekend of Hippiefest, the night before.
We were just talking about that, right?
Yeah,
Fish fry.
Fish fry, which has been going on for a long time.
For Concern Hotline, and Rusty Holland is, the master fish maker there.
And Rusty always comes in and helps a little bit with our festival. He showed up the next day last year for us. So Rusty's always a good supporter of everything we do, and he's just one of many. I mean, it's a community event.
Right. How many people attended last year at the Hippiefest?
We didn't take an official count, but I would say...
Well, of course not. You're hippies.
No, exactly. Throughout the course of the day, I'd say that there was probably several hundred people, less than 500. But they came...
A lot of tie-dye, a lot of bandana.
Yeah. Anybody wants to go to my Facebook page, Mike Wilt, you can see some tie-dye from last year, and we'll be posting some more stuff out there. And I know Bonnie Blue posts a lot of stuff.
They are posting a lot. Yeah, they're very active on social media, which is
and
great.
we're real excited about the music this year too. I want to plug these guys.
Yeah, please do.
Ben Weiss is a local legend over in the Shepherdstown area there.
Cool.
And he plays great music. It's fun music, and he's bringing some of his friends, Lynn Routes and Jamie Seeley. Some other guys. I'm sorry, guys. I can't remember everybody's name. I can barely remember mine half the time.
It's Mike.
But, if you can remember the '60s, you weren't there, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, so it's going to be entertaining. It's a family event. It's something that everybody seems to have a good time when they're there. I know they did last year, and
great.
And I think it's going to be warm this year. So,
okay.
Yeah.
What happened last year? We had a little storm or something?
No, it was hot. It was hotter than that. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's gonna be hotter than that. Yes, this year. But everybody jumps around. We get sweaty and we have a good time.
So a lot of dancing.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of dancing, and it's funny to watch some of these people dance. Myself especially
included. Right. I understand. When you just let go, the fact that we all find our movement, whatever.
Well, the old saying, dance like nobody's watching.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we do there, and it's fun. I mean, and nobody's making judgments because everybody's doing the same thing, and it's a great time. It's a party. It's a real hippie fest.
Real quick question: hippie versus yippie. Isn't there something about that?
That was the yippies. I can remember a little bit. They were a little bit more associated with a little bit more radical activities. Hippies grew out of the term hipster and hip cat, and things like that. I did a little research, and it goes back to jazz, beatnik movements. And but the yippies were they came along a little bit in the later part of the '60s, and you saw you know, like Abby Hoffman and some of his
I remember
crew.
reading Steal This Book, Mike.
Yeah,
You know what? I
yeah.
actually did a book report on that in high school.
Right on, man.
Yeah,
That's cool.
it was. I learned
cool.
some great tricks.
I met Abby Hoffman once.
How cool is that?
He shared a story. You know, he had put in a FOIA request, a Freedom of Information Act request, to get his FBI file.
Right.
So he finally got it, and he read in there that the FBI actually had a plan where they were going to kidnap him to keep him away from the 1968 Democratic Convention,
Which was in Chicago. My uncle was there.
And they were going to drug him and
gosh.
keep him hostage for a few days and then release him. And he finally met J. Edgar Hoover or somebody, and told him, says, "Hey, if you'd let me pick the drugs, man, I'd have gone peacefully." So, you know, but yeah, Jerry Rubin, all those cats, man, you know, they were active, and that's who I associate when you start talking about the Yippies, that movie. I might be totally wrong, but you know, in my mind, that's you know what I associate with that. But yeah.
Great. Mike, is there anything else you want to share about Hippiefest, where people get information? Is there a website, or is it just looking at Bonnie Blue's Facebook page?
I'd go to Bonnie Blue's Facebook page. And if you know how to find my Facebook page, do that. And
the folks at Bonnie Blue are just great people.
They're the best.
Yeah.
You know, Brian and Christian.
Yeah.
Those guys, man, they love the community they're in. They work hard for themselves. They work hard for the community, and you know, so when you can go to somebody with an off-the-wall idea like I did last year and have it happen the way it did, you know, you're working with the right people.
Right on, Mike. And I think you know that I am the Frisbee guy.
Yep.
So, and Frisbees were certainly around, thrown by a lot of hippies in the day.
Yep.
So I might just have to bring out some Frisbees on September 3rd. That'll be a lot of fun.
That would be very cool.
Okay.
Very cool. Yeah.
And I have some tie-dye, so I'll dig that up. And everybody's wearing tie-dye there, right?
We try to tie-dye, bell-bottoms.
Bell-bottoms.
Flowers in your hair, man, you know. You get your freak on.
Or in your beard.
In your beard, yeah.
Flowers in your beard. Okay, well, thanks so much. This has been Faces of Winchester with Gary Auerbach and my guest today, Mike Wilt. Thanks so much.